I come because it's so much work to get back in shape.
I'm Christy Code Red, and you're listening to Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle, where we believe food holds the power to heal or poison, and we believe our society has been misled regarding proper nutrition and weight loss. You're in the right place if you're looking for some straight up truth, because I'm here to shed light on the lies and brainwashing that has taken place over the past 5 decades. Thanks so much for listening. Welcome back to another episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. I'm your host, Christy Code Red, author, entrepreneur, retired professional boxer, here with Carrie Thompson. She's back because I know that I tried to do a couple of solo podcasts by myself, and it's always great having Carrie with me. So it's great. It's just always good to have you here, sis.
It is fun to be here. I always feel a little bit sad when I miss out, but sometimes people need the word. They need the word straight from the boss, and they just need the pure word, just bringing it hard, just hellfire and brimstone. So I think those podcasts are good as well.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. We really appreciate you being here. We appreciate you watching on YouTube, watching on wherever you listen to podcasts, rating, reviewing, sharing, all that stuff. Without you, we wouldn't be one of the highest ranking podcasts in this whole health and fitness and weight loss space. So thank you. And today we're talking about, I'm excited. It doesn't matter what you know. And let me kick us off with a story, sis, on how when this kind of all first started for me. It was 2016. And I had just teamed up with Natasha to start making Code Red bigger. You know, I knew how to get weight off of people. That was never the issue. I'd learned that years and years and years ago, but I did not know how to run the business. I didn't know how to spread the message. I didn't know how to effectively use the internet. I didn't know how to advertise and get help and all the stuff that goes into everything that makes a business successful. And I was just at the beginning stages of that. And we would meet for these things called a lunch and learn. And it was a group of women, and Natasha would put this together when she lived in Boise. And again, this was 2016. This was many, many years ago. And we would get together once a month, and we would meet at a place, and there would be a good 3 dozen of us. And then we were all entrepreneurs and all females. And we would mastermind together. You know, we would eat together. You know, we'd pay like a $25 ticket, and that came with our lunch, and that came with a good 2 hours together. And we would swap, like kind of like bunco. We would keep moving around tables, and we would mastermind with each other. And we have our little notepads and this was life-saving for me. This was huge for me. I knew nothing about being an entrepreneur. I knew nothing about running a business. I only knew how to get weight off of people. And so this was huge for me. And one day I was sitting across the table. Remember, I had a lot of confidence when it came to weight loss, getting weight off people, but I didn't have a lot of confidence when it came to running a company because I had never done it before. And I was just in the beginning stages. And sitting across me was this woman. And I don't think she listens to this podcast, but just in case, I'm not going to say her name. And I still remember her, like even now, I don't remember a lot, but her name just came to me. Her face came to me. I mean, I remember this very clearly. And I knew month over month, I would see her every month at our lunch and learn. And I noticed that she was gaining weight. And everybody felt uncomfortable, like people do around me, you know, when they're either eating in front of me or going to a party where I'm at the party, or a wedding where I'm at the wedding, or whatever, and there's food involved, or just them standing there. They're always uncomfortable, and they try to cover up themselves, and they make all kinds of excuses about the way they look. And, I used to be a high school athlete. That was like 42 years ago, you know, and people always are uncomfortable. So she was sitting there and she was fidgeting and she was uncomfortable. And I would never say anything to somebody like, hey, you know, it looks like you're putting on some weight since the last time I see you. I mean, I don't think I'd ever say that to somebody, you know, and I didn't say that to her. Well, she starts in automatically, just starts in about how, you know, well, I'm doing this, and I'm doing that, and I'm doing that, you know, and she's pulling uncomfortably at her clothes that are tight, you know, and she's fidgeting and she's shifting and she can't look me in the eye, and she's she's very nervous and just about her weight, about herself. And I just sitting there looking at her, I'm not saying anything. I'm not bringing this on. And she said, listen, like I'm saying something, listen. I know what to do. All right. I know what to do. And that's when it hit me. I just said, you know what? I didn't say, oh, I did say this. I said, it doesn't matter what you know. It matters what you're actually doing.
Wow. That's a great story. Afterwards, you'll have to text me the name of the person.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I'll send you their Facebook profile that you can see for yourself.
Send me that. It doesn't matter what you know. I think we should call this podcast, It Don't Matter What You Know. Can you say it like that? It don't matter what you know, because it don't matter what you know. It doesn't matter what you know. It doesn't matter. It matters what you do. And Christy, to echo that sentiment, how many respiratory therapists have I met in my nursing career that smoke? How many nurses have I met? And not to bag on nurses, because I was a fat nurse as well, that are obese. Even though every day they see the effects of obesity on and being metabolically broken, until they see that. How many, numerous, how many, I was just in the gym the other day, and I won't say who, because again, I don't know who listens. Not a lot of people know me in this part of the country. But I saw a very heavy, obese, close to morbidly obese personal trainer at the gym, showing people how to, and hey, no doubt they have the knowledge. I'm not questioning your knowledge. I'm not questioning your expertise. I'm not questioning your degrees. I'm not questioning your ability to do your job. Respiratory therapists, I have been with those of you that are heavy that save lives right alongside with me, that got people, extubated, that got them the BiPAP, that got them figured out. I've been with nurses that are heavy, that are phenomenal. Your weight doesn't affect it does affect your ability to do your job, but it doesn't affect your knowledge. But it doesn't matter what you know. You can have all of the information in the world. It matters what you do with it. And I think that's kind of what you're trying to say today.
Absolutely. I mean, when I'm picking podcast title, I want the podcast title to be, it doesn't matter what you know, it matters what you do. But the podcast title is too long. In fact, the other day, our mom says, I have a podcast idea for you girls. And she rattled off this 3-sentence title. And I was like, Mom, I mean, that's a great idea, but I can't use that. I can't do that because that title's too long. It doesn't matter what you know, it matters what you do. And Carrie, something that breaks your and my hearts is the fact that every single rebel who has ever left Code Red has gained weight back. Some of it has been some people have gained all of it back. Some people have gained more than all of it. Some people just gained some. And so if you take a Code Red certified coach who has been through the certification process and they have gained back their weight once they disconnect from the community, I mean, this is the perfect example of that, because they know just as much as me. Because when I certify a coach, I download all my knowledge into them. And so it doesn't matter what you know, because it's happening to them.
That is super heartbreaking for me. I remember when you first started Code Red, and then when I came on board, you struggled with this a lot, seeing people regain their weight. Yeah. And it didn't bother me at all. And now that Code Red has progressed and I've gotten to know more people, it is more heartbreaking for me. And it's not, Christy and I were just talking about this. It's not the 20 pounds. I mean, I get it. Like, life happens. You may gain some weight. It's when they regain all of their weight or almost all their weight. And I just am shocked. And they have all the knowledge, all the support, all the love, they still have their home study information. They still have their macronutrients. They still know how much water they should be drinking, and they just don't do it. They just don't do it. And it is beyond me why you would want to feel so miserable. It's beyond me. Okay, the other day I went into a patient's home and they were smoking in the home, which is hard for me, but that's their home. Like, I can't say anything. And I thought to myself, who still smokes? Who smokes? Like, this is 2022. It's not like even controversial. Maybe you could say drinking, I mean, even diet soda, like maybe you could, some of those things might be on that. Well, it's not so, like, smoking is so clearly horrible for you. Maybe I'll vape, you know what I mean? I guess, but I walked in there and I thought, who still smokes? That was my first thought. Like, have I stepped back into a time machine? But to still participate in things that are going to shorten your life. It's not what you know. I've seen the best people, the best pulmonologists, not generally a pulmonologist, but the best people that work with people that have respiratory problems, step outside and smoke. Of course, nowadays you can't step outside a hospital and smoke. You have to go to your car, but even in your car, you're not supposed to smoke. You have to leave campus. Did you know that? They've made it really hard to smoke. Of course, who smokes? Again, it's not
controversial. Everybody, and this is well known for the last 30 years, what smoking does. And most companies, you know, I know some CEOs that have banned smoking, employee smoking, you know, 25 years ago. And that was unheard of. Like, what? You can't tell an employee they can't smoke. Now, police officers can't smoke. I mean, correctional officers, like you cannot smoke. We've done a podcast on this, but it's always surprising to me because people, they have all the knowledge, especially the coaches and people that have been with Code Red for a long time. They've done a lot of challenges. They've got the home study numbers. They've been to the events. They have so much knowledge. They've read my books. They have read my other smaller books. And then they go back to their old ways and they go back on medications. Their psoriatic arthritis comes back. Their plantar fasciitis comes back. Their arthritis comes back. Things that are aggravated and made worse by what you eat, by eating inflammatory foods. And that's always surprising to me because I just think, but you know, it's coming back. You know, this is what caused it. You healed yourself and now you've made yourself sick again. And so it really doesn't matter what you know. Why I just, you know,
major disease processes that are taking place. That's what gets me. Like, I get like, oh, well, now my clothes don't fit me. Okay, well, let's get back on track. But to have a disease come back, like diabetes or like heart failure, or like you said, I hope can you hear my guineas? Are they being too loud? Because my guineas, Christy, it is mating season and every bird on the Thompson farm is being a poo-poo head. Let's just put it that way. I have to decide, because you podcasting people know that I have, all the people that listen to our podcast know that I have a farm, and the peacocks are being poops. The turkeys are being poops. And the guineas are literally, if I could turn the camera around, they're literally right outside my window going, ah, 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 ah. I'm like, really, all 80 acres. You got to come outside my window. Christy, I'm going to look up a scripture real quick that the Bible talks about knowing and then not doing. So that's what I'm doing.
I was just thinking about.
Yeah, let me grab that.
I was just thinking about the same thing, because the Bible is very clear. You know, you're talking about, and Carrie and I were raised in church. Our dad, both our parents were ordained ministers, and we never had spent a day out of church. And so we were raised knowing, like, when you know something is wrong, but you choose to do it anyway, that's what sin is. And so you're doing it. And so in church, we always call it backsliding, like, oh, that guy backslid, you know, and they went back to drinking or smoking or whatever, you know, back in the day that we cherry picked as far as what the bad sins were. You know, it's funny how Christians will do that. They'll cherry pick what the bad sins are, you know, and some sins aren't as bad as the other. Well, in God's eyes, you know, do you have the scripture?
People cherry pick Code Red.
Oh, sure.
I'll drink the water, but I want to eat donuts.
Right.
Okay. James 4:17. This is the NIV version. If anyone then knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it, it is for them, it is sin. So when you know to do good, when you know how it works, yet you don't do it, then that's sin. Here's another one. Corinthians 8:2. Those who think they know something do not yet know as they ought to know. Well, that's different, but that's kind of the same thing. When you know to do it and you don't do it, that's where the problem comes in. Now, Christy, I don't walk up to people at Winco. I'm going to use your grocery store name because I'm jealous you have it. That's all I'm saying. We ain't got no Wincos in Kentucky. But, you walk up to someone at Winco and be like, do you really have all that food in your bag? Do you really have all that crap you're going to feed your kid? Are you really getting Go-Gurts with 27 grams of sugar or whatever? Mm-hmm. Now, we don't do that because they don't have the knowledge. They don't understand. But when you see a rebel who was a coach, who successfully lost all the weight, and then they just go on to go back, that is the hardest thing for me. That's the hardest thing. And it is so similar to the, knowing that you feel so good exercising less. And we don't believe exercise is a way to lose weight. We believe in moving your body. So let me make that clear. I know everyone's like broken record, but yes, we are. Last night I was at the gym teaching a class. And the gal, I was filling in for another instructor, and the gal said to me, it's just hard. I turned to her, I was all sweaty. And I said, do you know the reason that I come to the gym every day? And she looked at me. I said, not about the shape, not about my arms, my Tara Hurst, thank God for some good genetics, muscly arms that Christy and I have. And also working out. That's not it. I said, do you know why I come every day? And now I had her attention because she thought I was going to be like swimsuit season, whatever. I mean, y'all know I ain't wearing no bikinis, but I said, I come because it's so much work to get back in shape. Mm. So the same could be said about weight loss. The same can be said about your walk with whatever spiritual belief you believe in. The same can be said about not smoking, not drinking. The same can be said about anything. It is so much easier to stay in shape than to get back in shape. And there are other reasons that keep me going. I feel good. My back doesn't hurt, things like that, Christy. But Christy, once you get out of shape, it is weeks of kind of misery to get back into shape. It's horrible. Miss a couple of weeks in the gym and it's like, oh man, this is going to suck. You got to do it. That's what keeps me motivated. It is so much easier for me to deal with the 5 pounds or the swings in my weight that I may have rather than facing down 50 pounds. If those rebels that got off track, Christy, and took that knowledge they knew and they stopped themselves before it progressed, that would have been so much easier, much easier to deal with it than letting it get to this beyond help point that I feel like people do. So even though they have the knowledge, they don't see, I think sometimes, and this is again, with any example, how far down the road they've gotten until it's so much more work to bring you back to baseline. And I kind of think that's what we're trying to say today.
Mm-hmm. Well, community is the number one biggest determining factor whether someone loses their weight and keeps it up or they don't. Studies, research, and data have shown this. And what we've noticed is people who have gained back their weight, they have completely disconnected from the community. And you can talk about any community. You can talk about your church community. You can talk about your skateboarding community, your knitting community, your fitness, your CrossFit community. You can talk about your weight loss community. And so what I've noticed the last couple of years, because it bothers me so bad watching people regain their weight, is that what I've noticed and I've read is like, people are constantly asking for connection. They're asking for more accountability. They're asking for more help. And back in January, I created Christy in Your Corner, Coach in Your Corner, Code Red in Your Corner, we call it, where you can, get training, you can get daily live messages, you can get weekly meetings with your coach, you can hear from us all the time, stay connected. I also created Coach Connection, and every 8 weeks I have this program. I offer this program, and it's a really great way to stay connected. That means your coach sends you messages every day. I mean, other than sleeping on your couch, I don't know how much better it can get than that, because you do know what to do. And the thing is, it's not about you not knowing what to do. We have people who have been through 11, 15, 27 challenges. Like they've been through everything Code. They buy all of our stuff. They've read all of my books. They've bought everything that Code Red has to offer. So they have the knowledge, but they're not doing it. So we're trying to reach these people saying, okay, Like, it's just not enough. But having a coach in your ear, having Christy in your ear every day, all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time, they're forced to do it. You can't get away from us. I mean, we're right there. We're in your phone. Every time you pick up your phone, there's going to be a message from me or my coaches. It's going to be like, hey, what's going on? How's your water? What was your sleep score? Everybody on the scale this morning, everybody in bed on time tonight. And then having a weekly meeting, which is what's included in the program, 2 programs, Coach Connection and Coach in Your Corner, having a weekly meeting to be able to see, because only 7% of all communication is verbal. There's a whole lot other stuff going on with the movement of my shoulders, with my facial expressions, with my voice fluctuations, with the tone I'm using. And so all that is conveyed during the weekly meeting. And it's so nice to have that face-to-face time. And that ensures that you will do the program. I mean, if you can't do the program with all that I'm offering you, then there's something bigger going on. And that could be the case, but it's not enough to just have the knowledge. There's got to be something that keeps you doing what you know you need to do.
And in all the people that we have coached, Christy, I do think it is the community. I really do. I mean, we've done study after study. We've done surveys. I say study. Everyone's like, let me see your data. I'm talking about surveys. Sorry. And we're seeing this, and short of Christy Code Red coming to your house and slapping the ho-ho out of your hand, this is as connected as you can get. And I would encourage anyone to check it out. It reminds me of a little community here locally. If you don't mind if I tell the story real quick, it's cute. So my massage therapist, she's amazing. Her name is Danielle, and she's a little bit older than us, older than me. And she's just this sassy, short hair, not real common here in Kentucky. A lot of women have their hair long, and that's fine. Sassy, short hair, just energetic, trim, fit. And she lives in a very small community here down the road called Falls of the Rough. It really small community. And at the local fire station, I'm not even making this up. This sounds like some Orfino stuff, but she teaches old school jazzercise, like old school. Like she doesn't call it Zumba because then she have to pay the money to Zumba. So maybe she calls it, I don't know, Roomba, Boomba. I don't know what she calls it. It's like jazzercise meets dancing meets, and she has a whole community of ladies, Christy, that live in this tiny little town that come to move their bodies. Now, why do I tell you this story? Well, in the local firehouse, it gets too hot. It's either the fire station or the community hall, whatever it is. It gets too hot in the summer to hold classes because they don't run the air or something. So in the summer months, everyone's busy. They don't have classes. And she says, you would not believe how much of a pull and how much of a motivation and how much of a support that community is to me. That little group of ladies getting together to the left and to the right and Roomba. I mean, it just, they love it. They love the connection. They love Danielle. They love it all. And she says, I always gain a little bit of weight when I'm not doing Zumba, which is cute. We talked about that. She's just skinny anyway, but Christy, in Falls of the Rough, Kentucky, we are seeing evidence of needing community to stay connected, social connections. Somebody is going to show up. Betty is going to drive her Buick Lark to Zumba, and you better be there because they're all going to dance. And then afterwards, they're going to go do whatever they do afterwards. It is an event. It's a social connection. It's a connection between these ladies that Danielle provides in a tiny little town in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky. And that is what Code Red is doing to you on a bigger level. We're giving you Danielle and some old ladies dancing in the fire station in Falls of the Rough, Kentucky. That's what we're giving you. Only we're doing it for weight loss. And so it doesn't matter that these ladies know how to do the jazzercise steps at home. It doesn't matter that they have their leg warmers and their headbands at home. What matters is they need that connection to hold them accountable and to keep them coming together. And not only just accountable, like, why didn't you lose weight, but accountable, like, we love you and we accept you. And that's what my massage therapist is doing. And that's what Code Red is doing with Coach in Your Corner and Coach Connection. It's a phenomenal program. I mean, if you went to Danielle's class, you have to pay $5 each time. You're getting a good deal with Code Red. That's all I'm saying.
Just the other day, I live downtown Boise at the top of the Grove Hotel, and whenever I take Vinny out to go potty, there's a patch of grass right outside of the U.S. Bank building, and that's kind of our place where we potty. In addition to the fact that I walk him anywhere from 3 to 5 miles a day. And I was out there the other day, and I actually get quite a bit of people who walk by who know me, or they'll shout from their car windows. And the Grove Hotel is the nicest hotel in Boise. And so all the great events, sometimes when I walk through the lobby, people will recognize me often. Well, I was out on that patch of grass, and a woman walked by and she said, "Christy Code Red?" And I looked down at her and I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Oh my gosh, I'm a rebel." And and she was walking with her husband. And I said, "Really?" She goes, "I'm in maintenance." So I walked up to her. I said, "No, you're not." And she said, "Well, no, I went to your event at Quail Hollow." And I said, "Quail Hollow?" And that was a golf, Carrie, 5 years ago. She attended one of my events at Quail Hollow Golf Course. And it was one of the very first Rebel reunion. We used to call them After Hours with Christy back then, because it was late at night, not late, but late for us. And I said, that was like 4 or 5 years ago. First of all, you're not in maintenance. All right. I can look at you and I'm seeing you have about 25 more pounds to lose. And she starts in, "Well, I just had shoulder surgery." And I said, "Second of all," and I just went like this, and I said, "Second of all, where have you been for the past 4 or 5 years? No wonder no wonder you might've been a mate. Maybe she lost all the weight and she gained it back. I don't know if maybe she just, she said, "I've lost 33 pounds. I said, "And I'm super, super happy about that." But that was 5 years ago. Where are you now? What are you doing now? And she didn't know about the app. She didn't know about the programs we offer. She didn't know about What's Eating You. She didn't know about the workshop. She didn't know about Rebel Reunion in June. She didn't know about any of the stuff we do because she had been so disconnected. The last contact she had with me was 5 years ago. And that's what I'm talking about. So I don't know I'm just telling you she's a little overweight, but that is a big reason she hadn't stayed connected. And then later on that night, I got a message from her and said, "You know what? I really appreciate you calling me out." She said, "You're right. And I need to get back onto it." And seeing you again, just lit that inside me. And then another similar story, sis, is a lady saw me in the hotel just a little later on that day. I was picking up a package. And she was at a teacher's reunion, and she lives about 2 hours away. And she said, "Oh my gosh, Christy Code Red." And I said, "Let's grab a quick picture together." And she said, "Oh, I don't like myself in pictures." I said, "Let's do it." And she goes, "You know what?" And we did the old selfie, Of course, she tilted the phone to where it didn't show from here down. And she said, "I think this is just what I need to get me back on track." Yep. The reason I tell you all this, a couple reasons. Of course, the lady that had been disconnected, but just seeing me again lit a fire under her. Can you imagine if she got daily messages from her coach or me? Can you imagine if she had to meet with her coach every week for a meeting? Can you imagine if she joined Code Red Ringside, where I go live 3 times a week? Can you imagine if they stayed connected? I'm telling you, they never would have gained that weight back. They would have stayed on track. They would have felt great. They would be going into summer completely different, not wearing LuLaRoe leggings, not wearing these things covering them up, but they would have showed their arms and their legs and their neck and felt confident about that. Can you imagine just staying connected would have done for those ladies?
It doesn't matter what you know. Also, I think LuLaRoe went out of business, Christy. So we're going to have to think of a new.
Are you serious?
For some reason? Yeah, I don't know. Someone will have to write below in comments, but there's something about them. There's some controversy. They like to have a whole series of like investigatory things about that MLM. So I'll let you know. I'll see what I can find out. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what you know. It matters what you do. So get connected with Code Red. Even if you've been disconnected, get connected and get where you want to be, where you can feel healthy and where you're taking your life back. We want to encourage you to do that.
What you know is not enough. We've seen that, because you can read the Code Red Revolution book and get all the knowledge, but You know, you can do one challenge and get all the knowledge. There are no original ideas. We're not reinventing the wheel here. We're talking about real food, water, and sleep. That's not new information. So it's not enough that you know that. It doesn't matter. In some cases, it matters, you know, as far as like some people really don't know. And then we say, no, low fat is actually not healthy. We want you to eat a little more. We want you to eat the brisket. We want you to go ahead and don't cut the fat off the steak. That's like, oh, geez, I didn't know that. But guys, that's not the case here. We notice people do know. They know more about Code Red than I do. And yet, they still struggle. Why is it? Because it doesn't matter what you know. It matters what you do. And you're not doing it because you're not connected. You're not doing it because nobody's holding your feet to the fire. You're not doing it because you have nothing coming up. You don't have a strong enough why. There's a lot of reasons why you aren't doing it. But I'll tell you one thing about Code Red is we give you so many opportunities to stay connected, not just in person, but online. So you don't have any excuses.
I agree 100%. Amen. Reload.
That's right. We hope you enjoyed this butt kicking episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. It doesn't matter what you know. It matters what you do. A lot of you guys aren't doing it. Although you're listening to this podcast, and we do appreciate that, does help. Because Carrie and I both listen to podcasts of things that we know lift us up and cause us to aspire higher and cause us to want to be better people. So it does matter that you're listening to this. That's good. That's good. But are you doing it? Is it enough? I don't know. I would bet that it's probably not. So you need to get involved and stay connected to us as much as you possibly can. Don't give me the bull crap excuse about money, because you spend money on what's important to you. And a lot of you, I just burped, sorry. A lot of you guys are ordering Domino's pizza, which is close to $30 to feed your family every time you order. And I'll tell you right now, it's almost $3 every time I get a tall black coffee from Starbucks. That's how high the price has gotten. That's $90 a month. So we can offer you so much better support for so much less money. It just has to be a priority for you. So go to coderedlifestyle.com/APP, get connected in our private network. We love you. We're here for you. Lots of ways. Carrie's Instagram, my Instagram, the YouTube channel, lots and lots of the free version of the app, lots of ways. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you for joining us. Hey, I'm Christy Code Red, and thank you for listening to Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. If you want to stay connected to other rebels like you, join us in our private network. Our Code Red app is a one-stop shop, free from ads, algorithms, and censorship, and a place where you can see, listen, and watch everything Code Red. You'll be encouraged, motivated, and fired up to stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Get recipe ideas, tips, tricks, and help from coaches, mentors, and other rebels. You can also purchase products, programs, and coaching all right there in one place. And if you have any trouble navigating the app, we're right there to help you. Go to coderedlifestyle.com/APP to join for free. And I'll see you on the next episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle.